Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamu alaikum. This is lecture number 28 for English Comprehension and Composition. This lecture is in continuation with the previous one, in which we talked about resume writing, that is CV writing. We talked about how to compose a resume, what are the basic guidelines, what to include and what not to include. Today, in continuation to that, we are going to talk about kinds of resume formats and samples, and no experience resume writing guide and samples. We also discussed a no experience resume sample in the previous lecture, which was specifically helpful for students who have no work experience or have not been into any professional organization or professional work experience at all. No experience resume sample was specifically for those people who were not very professionally sound and they were applying for a job for the first time or for very initial times. So it was good for you, and we are going to discuss those samples again and see how they are helpful to you in developing your CV for the first time. Now, this is a resume template that we'll discuss today in a lot of detail, and which would help you write a good resume for you. Finished school, no formal work experience. So this is a template specifically designed for you by this source, and this source is a very widely used resource on the internet that helps young people develop their resumes according to their needs, because at that time they have very little work experience, very little professional background, so they need a lot of help to develop a good CV, compose a good CV. So let's begin with this document, and then we'll move on to discussing or reviewing the kinds of resumes and various formats. If you've completed year 12 but don't have a lot of work experience, your resume will be more like a professional information sheet than a job history. It should focus on your academic achievements and other skills and abilities. Now, if you have completed year 12, that is you have done your FA or FSC that you have done right now, and you have almost or no experience, no work experience, no professional experience, and you are into your bachelor's degree now. So at this point in time, you should start thinking about developing a good CV, because in the next 6 to 8 months you might need a CV to be sent over to either your university for a record or to other professional organizations, to prospective employers for good job positions. So you don't have a lot of work experience, and your resume will be more like a personal information sheet than a job history. So this is going to be a personal information that would explore you as a person on a piece of paper. So think about yourself as a professional person, as knowing yourself better, well, and write down all the points that come to your mind, and then you can use them in making a CV. It should focus on your academic achievements and other skills and abilities. Now, of course, you don't have any professional experience whatsoever. So this CV, definitely this personal information sheet, is going to focus on your academic achievements, what you have done academically till now, whether there were any awards or any medals or any certificates that you got, and any skills and abilities that you have till now, or any other volunteer achievements that you have. उनका जिक्र आप अपने इस CV में करेंगे, because इस वक्त आपके पास work experience कोई नहीं है. Jobs aren't the only place you develop skills and experience. So think about the other aspects of your life, at school, helping at home, or through volunteer work or hobbies where you've developed skills and abilities that would be useful on the job. Now, I told you in the previous lecture as well, it's not just the professional experience that makes a CV worth looking at by the prospective employers. It is it's other aspects of your life that teach you a lot of things, that give you so many different learning experiences that you can add into your CV and make it a very good, interesting one. That can be helping at home through volunteer work or hobbies, or even at school there might be some projects that you've been a part of. So anything that developed your skills and abilities would be useful in a CV, and that can definitely help you get a good job, and that experience can enhance your professional experience later. How to use this template? This template has been designed as a starting point for you to write your own resume. You can choose to leave out some sections and expand on other sections depending on your particular skills and experience. If you get stuck, you'll find heaps more tips and advice in our jobs and careers section. Check out our applying for job section to get started. Now this template can be used entirely by you. It's totally self-explanatory. You can read through it, and all the instructions are given, and they are so clear that you can develop and come up with a very good CV. Now this template has been designed as a starting point for you to write your own CV, and you can choose to leave out some sections. You can totally delete some sections and expand on some, because most of the sections might not be very relevant to your social context here in Pakistan. And you can add your own particular skills and experience. If you get stuck, it is most probable, more likely that you get stuck at certain points at this moment, because this is the very first time that you are trying to write a CV of your own. So there are more tips on jobs and career section of the same website that you saw at the top of this template. So go there and check out their job section to get started. Now tip number 1 is your resume should be no longer than 3 pages. If it's longer, there is a good chance that people won't want to read it. This template resume is a bit longer because we've included tip boxes and options for you to choose from. So when you add or delete things, so वो छोटा हो जाएगा, लेकिन आपका resume 3 पेजेस से ज़्यादा का हरगिज़ नहीं होना चाहिए. आपका resume as a student would most probably be just 1 page. उसमें आप कोशिश करेंगे इतनी information ना डालें, या डालें भी तो इस तरह कि वो 1 पेज से ज़्यादा हरगिज़ ना हो. So and then if a resume gets longer than 3 pages, nobody wants to read it. That's the problem. So this template is a bit longer because all various possible sections have been added. So you have to choose between them. You might not want hobbies, you might not want personal profile, you might want to exclude awards and distinctions because at this point in time you don't have any. So that's where you need your own choice and discretion. Tip number 2, be specific. Don't just include the name of the company you worked for. Specify the position you held, and if relevant, list tasks you completed or outcomes you achieved. Now, sometimes even if you have some volunteer experience or some work experience, don't just list the name of the companies you worked for. Specify the position, and also, if you remember, if it is relevant, 1 or 2 tasks that you completed. For example, you worked as a program officer and your main duty was to arrange meetings and develop minutes of meeting. Do mention that, because if your any future job requires that, they would be more than happy to take a person who already has some experience of this particular skill. Your resume should include your academic track record, either academic results or core study areas or both. Now your academic track record till now at year 12 would not be a lot. You can start off with high school and then move over to matriculation, और आप intermediate का अपना result जो है वो mention कर सकते हैं. It can be academic results or core study areas. What did you study in your high school? What did you study in matriculation? Whether it was science subjects or the humanities subjects, or what subjects you pursued in your intermediate. आपने pre-engineering पढ़ा, आपने pre-medical पढ़ा, या आपने ICS पढ़ा, या BCom पढ़ा, ICom पढ़ा, आप उसको mention करेंगे. Now, activities you've taken part in at school, in clubs or community groups, or even just friends. Now, any activities that you took part in, I told you previously as well, they can be simply organizing a painting exhibition with your teacher in the school. It can be that, or it can be organizing a variety program at the college level, or it can be developing a team lead, being a team lead for a team that worked in a volunteer project. There can be many things that a college or university provides opportunities for the students. So you could have been a part of any volunteer work at school. You must have done something at clubs or community groups, or even just friends. Some of the friends you got together, you went over to a flood hit area and you helped people. So you can even mention that in your activities, because at this level even this would help you a lot. Skills and abilities you've developed. These include practical skills you learned at school, such as computer skills or hands-on experience in your chosen field, as well as skills you've developed outside school. Think about skills you've got from helping out at home or helping friends, teachers, or relatives. Now, these include practical skills you learned at school. They can be computer skills, they can be arts, they can be music that you learned. You could even have learned to play an instrument or learn a foreign language, or you can even have helped with something at home. Your father, you might wanted to build a fence around the house and you helped him with that. You can add that to your skills and abilities. And then you might have helped your mother cook a big meal for a big family feast or big family dinner. आपने उसमें अपनी अम्मी को help की salad बनाने में, और उसमें आपने उसको किस तरह से dinner को organize किया. You sat with your mother, you made a menu first, and then you went over for shopping. You bought groceries, आपने सब्जियां खरीदी. Then you came back, you sat down, you helped out your mother in cutting and chopping and then mixing and setting the table and helping the guests come in and serving and all that. This can be a very good skill of organizing something. Coming from homes where you have big feasts and all, those kids are very well organized. They know how to pinpoint things that would make an event successful. तो वो शुरू से उन चीज़ों की लिस्ट बना के रखते हैं और पहले फर्स्ट हमने ये करना है, फिर ये करना है, फिर ये करना है. वो ये सब काम जो है पहले से सीखे हुए होते हैं. So there is no harm in mentioning any of these skills in your CV at this point in time. You can later skip that. You can later take it out, because after that 1-2 साल के बाद आपके पास और इतने skills होंगे यूनिवर्सिटी के एक्सपोजर की वजह से कि आप वो सब अपने CV में मेंशन कर सकते हैं. Now think about skills you got from helping out at home or helping out with friends, teachers, or relatives. You could have even helped your teacher with developing an action plan to help poor students in the college or university. So that can also come in your CV. Any work experience you have done through school work experience programs, volunteer work, or through casual or holiday jobs, focus on the skills and strengths you developed. Now, कभी कभार ऐसा होता है कि छुट्टियों के दौरान बच्चों को कहीं ना कहीं काम करने का मौका मिल जाता है. So they go for working with call centers or internet cafes and even restaurants, or इस तरह की जगहों पे बच्चे काम करते हैं. सो एनी सच वर्क एक्सपीरियंस वुड डू. आप उसको मेंशन करें, जगह को मेंशन करें, आपने क्या काम किया था, और डिटेल में अपनी 1-2 रिस्पॉन्सिबिलिटीज़ लिखें. वॉलंटियर एक्सपीरियंस इज़ वेरी इंपॉर्टेंट. दिस इज़ अ सजेशन, दिस इज़ एन एडवाइस. एट दिस पॉइंट इन टाइम डेफिनेटली गो फॉर सम वॉलंटियर एक्सपीरियंस दैट यू वुड लेटर add to your CV and would help you a lot. The roles you've played in teams and the way you interact with others. This is also one very important aspect. आप दूसरों के साथ किस तरह की डीलिंग रखते हैं, how you communicate with others, what kind of a person you are when it comes to talking to other and developing a good relationship with others, a problem solving approach, और ये टीम में आप किस तरह से काम करते हैं. ये चीज़ें भी आपके CV में आ सकती हैं. अगर आपने किसी टीम में काम किया है, you've been captain of any team in your sports in the school or college, तो उसको मेंशन करें आप और बताएं कि आपने क्या क्या किया. हाउ डिड यू हैंडल द टीम व्हेन योर टीम लॉस्ट, तो आपने उनको किस तरह हैंडल किया. सो इससे आपका CV थोड़ा सा 1 पेज जितना भी हो जाएगा, 1-2 मटेरियल भी बातें भी उसमें आ जाएंगी. बट देन अगेन डोंट स्टार्ट राइटिंग स्टोरीज. दे शुड बी सेंटेंसेस, वेरी ब्रीफ क्रिस्प सेंटेंसेस, जिनमें आप बहुत ब्रीफली ये बात बता दें कि आपने क्या किया था. Now moving on, this is a sample of our resume that I told you will show you. Let's look at it. इसका हर part को उन्होंने proper highlight करके आपको बताया हुआ है. Jane Smith, provide your full name or the name you like to be called, not just your initials. Don't just add your initials, your name is supposed to be here. Then we have the date of birth. You don't legally have to include your date of birth. It's up to you whether you want to or not. You can even skip that. Now this is the section that you can totally take out from here. Personal details, provide your usual postal address including the post code. This is your address, then your mobile phone, and then your email. Provide your daytime phone number, home or mobile. Make sure your phone has a clear voicemail message or that there is someone available to take a message for you. Always make sure that there is someone to take a message, or there is a voicemail that tells the other person to whether get their message recorded or text you so that you can read the text and call them later. And then about the email address, provide an email address. It looks more professional to use an email address with your name in it rather than one you use with friends like sugar_quoted@hotmail.com. So it is supposed to be a professional email address with your name in it. इस तरह के funny और cartoonish किस्म के email addresses जो हैं आप अपने CV में हरगिज़ नहीं दे सकते. So try to avoid that. Career objective. After successfully completing my year 12 in the area of maths and science, I am now focusing on a career in microbiology. While pursuing specialist science subjects at university, I am seeking a position that can help develop my practical lab skills and statistical analysis. Now see, this is a very good detailed career objective, which of course is not your resume objective, it is your career objective. Because at this point in time, you simply cannot have a resume objective because you are not actually applying for a full-time job. It's just a kind of a making of a resume and checking whether you get it or not. So your career objective would be at this time you should be more than clear about what you plan to do in your life. So यहाँ पे this student is perfectly clear. After year 12 in maths and science, they are planning to pursue their career in microbiology. They will study these science subjects in university, and they are seeking for a position that would develop their practical lab skills and statistical analysis. Now let's look at this information regarding the career objective. A career objective explains what you're looking for and what you can offer, and shows that you've thought about what kind of work you want to do. If this is your first job after high school, you could reflect upon subjects you studied at school and any work experience you've done. Keep it brief, 1 or 2 sentences. It can be written specifically to suit each job you apply for, or it can be more general to suit your overall career or job goals. Now your career objective can be about just one job, or it can generally enhance or point to your overall career objective कि आप life में career में क्या करना चाहते हैं. So if this is your first job, high school, after high school you could reflect upon subjects you studied at school. आपने स्कूल में क्या subjects पढ़े थे, आप high school के बाद आपकी पहली job है, तो आप ये बता सकते हैं कि आपने सब्जेक्ट्स कौन से पढ़े थे, उन पे फोकस करें, और यू स्टार्ट टॉकिंग अबाउट योर करियर ऑब्जेक्टिव कि आप इन सब्जेक्ट्स को लेके आगे करियर में क्या करना चाहते हैं. स्किल्स एंड एबिलिटीज. IT skills, I am highly computer literate and proficient with the following programs: Microsoft Word, Microsoft Excel, Microsoft Access and a range of other databases, Micromedia Dreamweaver, Adobe Photoshop. I actively maintain my own web page at, this is your web page. That's very good. Now anything of this sort that you have, you should mention it. Now these days we see that most of the students, most of the social networking websites users have their pages, have various different links and pages as they are developing those pages as admins, and they are handling them, they are looking after them, they are taking care of them. So you can mention any of those skills here. If you have any page for social service or for any other contact on any social networking websites, you can mention that here, and that would definitely help the prospective employer know that you are very keen on working in such things. A great way to show your suitability for the job you are applying for is to list your skills under the same subheadings used in the job advertisement or position description. Now at this point in time, you should look at the job description in a lot of detail. If the job description says that you need to have IT skills, you need to have research skills, you need to have leadership, organization skills, तो उनको उन्हीं headings में divide करके आप अपने बारे में mention करते जाएं कि आपके पास ये skills है, आपके पास ये skills है. So that would give a bit of a space to your CV as well. एक पेज से वो शायद 1.5 पेज पे चला जाए, तो लेकिन it would be very specific, and employers would be definitely happy that you have taken time and given a lot of your mind, a lot of your time and a lot of effort to writing this resume. So divide your resume into subheadings according to the job advertisement. If the job ad states the successful applicant must have strong IT skills, you should include an IT skills heading in this section. So if it asks for research skills, if it asks for organization or management skills, तो आप उसी तरह headings में divide करके नीचे अपनी एक दो skills लिखें जो आपने उस category में की. Include things that you do well. Think about things that others have said you are good at, or better still, ask friends or family to make the list for you. Think about general skills as well as specific job related skills and abilities. Now, even before writing a CV, you can sit with your friends and family and discuss yourself, how they see you, how they believe you have developed with time, what kind of a person you are, what are the things you enjoy doing, and what are you passionate about, what can be your career goal. So what they will tell you will give you a very good substantial data out of which you can make a very good resume. So it's like a pre-writing technique that we have discussed earlier for our paragraph writing and essay writing. So for a CV, you can still have a pre-writing discussion with your friends and family and see how they judge you, how they assess you as a human being, as a person. So that information would definitely help you put in something substantial in your CV. Research skills. I developed strong scientific research skills through a range of projects undertaken in years 11 and 12 in both biology and geography streams. I continue to develop these skills through my university studies. I further developed my practical science skills through work experience placements as a laboratory assistant in 2002. I am an avid reader of scientific publications and journals, and am specifically interested in the areas of microbiology and genetics. Now, in research skills, they have written that they have strong scientific research skills through a range of projects undertaken in years 11 and 12. Now the person is more of a science man, so they have a lot of interest in biology and geography streams. और university college education पर आपको बहुत सारी इंटरनेट रिसर्च करनी पड़ती है. इंटरनेट पर आपको जर्नल्स, आर्टिकल्स और वेब पेजेस और डेफिनेशंस और डायग्राम्स और हर चीज़ पढ़नी होती है. सो रिसर्च स्किल के अंदर आप वो भी लिख सकते हैं, बिकॉज वो चीज़ है जो हर स्टूडेंट ने की होती है. एंड देन दे हैव टोल्ड देम दैट आई फर्दर डेवलप्ड माई प्रैक्टिकल साइंस स्किल्स थ्रू एक्सपीरियंस science placement as a laboratory assistant in 2002. Here you can include activities at school, both academic and extracurricular, specific areas of skill, administration, communication, helping family or friends, community work, your interests and hobbies, your social and personal strengths. Now if you add just one thing per point here, this is going to be a very good communicative resume of yours. You can add activities at schools, both academic and extracurricular. If you have developed a project helped your friends with a project that turned out to be very good, that can be your academic achievement. And then extracurricular can be during the students week you participated in a debate contest, or you were the winner of a parliamentary debate contest. So these can be your achievements. Specific areas of skill, any administrative work that you have done, you might have helped conduct a test and collect, you might have been an usher during the convocation ceremony, and then anything related to communication that you have done. Then if you have helped your family or friends, community work, or your interests and hobbies, all these can come under here, any with more headings, not just research skills. Education and training, we have sample A and then we have sample B. There can be two ways to write this. Education and training, if you don't have a strong work history, you can use this section to demonstrate your academic achievements and sell your strengths. Now, instead of making it a professional career here, you can add educational and training. If you have any education, you must of course have education and your training, so you can add that here. But if you have no work history, you can use this section to display your education. Sample A is education की heading के साथ आप नीचे लिखेंगे अपना year 2005 to present. You are Bachelor of Science Biology, Monash University. Then 2004 Victorian Certificate of Education, Highfield Secondary College, Tertiary Entrance Score 79.5, and your subject results were English B, Social Sciences B, Mathematics B, Biology A, Geography B, and Physical Education C. Provide a summary of your education history, including your last year of secondary school and any course you are doing now. Start the list with your current studies and work backwards. Now this is how you have to go about it. Of course you have to start off with your present degree and move down. 2004 तक आपकी जो degrees थी वो आपने लिखनी है along with the results. This would definitely makes your CV a little longer as well, और इसमें clarity आ जाएगी. If relevant, you can list the subjects you studies and marks achieved. It's up to you. If you want to exclude this, you can exclude this portion till here. You get just overall अपना score लिख दें, result अलग-अलग लिखने की कोई ज़रूरत नहीं. Then some academic achievements. Sample A में आप लिख सकते हैं 2003 में what you did was finalist Science Talent Search, Science Teachers Association of Victoria. Then 2002 entrant Australian mathematics competition, that is you participated but you couldn't win. 2001 member CSIRO's Double Helix Science Club, you are a member of that. In 2001 you were a member of Student Advisory Board. So these can be some achievements, and don't forget to include any additional relevant training you completed at school or otherwise, short courses, first aid certificates, and any flood relief warning और earthquake warning courses जो आजकल 2005 के 8 अक्टूबर के ज़लज़ले के बाद बहुत से स्कूलों में ये कोर्सेज जो है वो बच्चों को दिए गए, फर्स्ट एड और earthquake warning के कोर्सेज, सो वो भी आप इसमें मेंशन कर सकते हैं. Then look at the sample B. This can be like education की heading के बाद similarly आप 2005 से अपना मोनाश यूनिवर्सिटी का लिखें, उसके बाद 2004 विक्टोरियन सर्टिफिकेट. अब यहाँ पे उन्होंने रिजल्ट वगैरह मेंशन नहीं किया है. List the name of the course and the name of the place you studied it, as well as an overview of the skills that you developed as part of the course. You can list here any course, any overview of the course, जो कोई specific चीज़ जो आपने यहाँ सीखी, यहाँ पर आप वो भी मेंशन कर सकते हैं. Skills developed: sharpened my scientific research skills through my year 12 project, a study of genetic mutations of the common fruit fly, Drosophila melanogaster. कॉमन फ्रूट फ्लाई को उन्होंने की जेनेटिक म्यूटेशंस को स्टडी किया. सो दिस हेल्प्ड देयर साइंटिफिक रिसर्च स्किल्स. अचीव्ड हाई डिस्टिंक्शंस इन द एरिया ऑफ स्टैटिस्टिकल एनालिसिस, साइंटिफिक मॉडलिंग, रिसर्च मेथोडोलॉजी. See, now these three areas are very important. Statistical analysis is one thing that is always used in both business and industry, and scientific modeling and research methodology. This is one course that even at the MPhil and PhD level people are not very well versed in. So if at this BS level the person has a kind of a know-how of this course, that means that they know something really substantial. Developed strong leadership skill as class captain in 2002, and through leadership roles as student advisor to junior school students in 2003. Now, being a class monitor, class representative or class captain makes a student understand how to handle such a big group of people of their own age, how to organize things among them, how to get them to work together, how to get work out of them, and how to designate tasks. A class captain has a lot of responsibilities, and if you were a class captain of your class, you should definitely mention that in your CV. That is going to be a plus point. And do highlight one or two important things that you learned during being a class captain. Now, work experience, school work experience, June 2002, laboratory assistant to Bush and Allen, core skills, preparing slides and samples, data analysis and documentation, stock control. Now, what they did for work experience was that they were a laboratory assistant, और उसमें उन्होंने किया क्या, core skills क्या थे वो भी आप highlight कर सकते हैं. core skills की जगह आप यहाँ लिख सकते हैं responsibilities or duties, और उन्होंने what they did was they prepared slides and samples that you look through the microscope, and then data analysis and documentation, stock control was their responsibility. List any work experience you've completed, formal work experience, programs at school. Start with the most recent work back from there. You can highlight key skills and abilities by listing specific tasks. Now, start with the most recent skill. That means जो बिल्कुल latest skill आपका था उसे सबसे पहले लिखेंगे और उसके बाद आप descending order में जाएंगे. You can highlight key skills and abilities by listing specific tasks that you were assigned. This definitely is going to help your employer understand कि आपने क्या क्या किया और किस किस चीज़ में आप proficient हैं. June 2001, research assistant, CSIRO, core skills. What you achieved was statistical analysis, data collection and collation, questionnaire development, conducting library and database searches. Now, research assistant, we were told earlier that their research skills were enhanced, so it's useful to list current or past part-time and casual positions too, even if they are not related to the type of work you are now seeking. Even if they are not related at this point in time, you can mention those in your CV. Interest, swimming, member of the Highfield Swimming Club. Writing a bit about what you do in your spare time helps an employer get to know you. It's another chance to draw attention to your abilities and achievements. Always mention your hobbies and interests. Those people who do not add their interests and hobbies in their CV, they might miss on a chance to let the employer know them better. So it's good that you tell them in a very light-hearted way that you like swimming, or you like cooking, or you read a lot, or you love your pet a lot, or you like gardening or growing flowers and all that, right? So it's good that you do that. Include things like team memberships, long-term interests, and any informal training you've done through a social club or community group. Now, you can include these if you are a member of any organization, a member of any club, or you have long-term interests, like you used to be interested in horse riding, you like web page developing, and you have done that for your friends and family and your teachers and school and college, तो वो भी आप mention कर सकते हैं. कोई इनफॉर्मल ट्रेनिंग जो आपने ली, किसी सोशल क्लब के आप मेंबर हैं, वो भी आप इसमें मेंशन करेंगे इंटरेस्ट्स में. Scientific research and investigation. I am a member of several science-related chat rooms and bulletin boards, and I've developed my own web page that focuses on both my scientific and other interests. And this is the web page. Cooking, Asian food in particular. See, there is no harm in telling your employer that you like to cook or do such things like these. Now, about references. This is a very commonly asked question. Most of the students who are new to writing resumes, they have no idea what references or referees are. Referee is a person, someone who knows you well, like a colleague, teammate, coach, mentor, teacher, or another member of the community you worked with or helped out. They can be a reference. So try to find those people and write their names, or you can just say that references will be provided on demand. Including referees, make sure you provide up-to-date contact details for your referees, and make sure you get permission from them before including them in a resume. Always ask your referees whether they allow you to add their name to the reference or not. It also helps to tell referees a bit about the job you're applying for, so they can think about how your skills and abilities will be relevant. Written references are very useful to add to your resume to highlight your skills. Ask potential referees to write you a reference that describes your best skills and qualities. Now, whatever references you add, write up-to-date information about them. Let them know that you want to add them as referees, and tell them about the job position you are seeking, so that the written reference they give you would definitely be matching your best skills and qualities, and would describe and highlight what you have to offer for this job. And written reference is a kind of a recommendation letter that any of these people जिनका नाम आप reference में लिखेंगे वो आपको देंगे, and it's good to add that to your CV. Now this was a very helpful template that was for no formal work experience people. Young people who have no formal work experience, they can go through this template, and you saw that it's quite self-explanatory. It helps you develop your CV in a very communicative and effective manner, and it can be just 1 page or 1.5 page, a very effective and very clear and specific piece of writing that conveys to the employer what you really are. So try to follow this template, and try to develop your CV, as in about 6 to 8 months time you will be needing one to get a good job. Now moving on, this handout is a guide developed by University of Hawaii at Hilo. This is a very communicative guide on everything related to a resume or curriculum vitae. They have started off with trying to develop a resume. When you think about writing a resume, what should you do, the pre-writing techniques, the questions you need to answer. There's a long list of questions that you answer, and the relevant data that you get, you can build a very good resume with that. Not going into those details because we have already talked about them. We are moving on to, or starting off from page number 6 of this resume guide that tells us about the resume formats, the kinds of resumes. And after going through this, we are going to move on to some sample resumes, and we'll check the difference between chronological and functional formats and the combination format. Chronological format is the most commonly used type, and is therefore the type that most employers are used to seeing. It emphasizes the positions that you have held and the experiences that you have had. It starts off with your work experience first, as we talked about earlier. Strictly speaking, we probably should call this a reverse chronological resume, because your current or most recent position is generally listed first, and then previous positions follow in reverse chronological order. Now, reverse chronological order is starting from the current job and moving towards the last one. The job that you first did would be coming at the end. That is why we call this a reverse chronological order. Chronological order is according to the sequence of happening, sequence of occurrence, but here we are going reverse. हम जो सबसे end में होने वाली चीज़ है, जो अभी present में हो रही है, उससे हम सबसे पहले लाएंगे. So this chronological format basically starts off with your work experience, and that too in reverse chronological order. The functional format, the use of the functional format is best limited to circumstances that require you to avoid emphasizing your employment record. You might choose this format if you have no work experience, have significant gaps in your employment record, or have a pattern of short-term jobs subsequent to graduation from college, or have held several positions in which you have exercised the same skills. It is also often used by persons who are making a drastic career change and who want to emphasize their transferable skills. In the functional resume format, you emphasize your skills rather than the positions you have held. Now, when we move on to the template, figure 1 describes our chronological resume format. We look at that. Figure 4 shows an example of the functional resume format that we will come to in a minute. And functional format, as I told you, is we have talked about it before. This is just a review before we move on to the different samples. A functional format resume gives you a kind of a lot of freedom and liberty to develop your resume. It gives you a chance to, when you are not emphasizing your work record, when you are trying to avoid that, and you might choose this format when you have a significant gap in your employment record, or you have a pattern of short-term jobs, or you have held many positions in which you have done a lot of similar work. मतलब टीचिंग की जॉब्स फॉर एग्जांपल आप करते रहे और सब में आपने इंग्लिश पढ़ाई है और एक ही लेवल पे पढ़ाई है, तो आप फंक्शनल फॉर्मेट जो है वो चूज़ करेंगे. एंड देन इट इज़ ऑल्सो यूजफुल फॉर पीपल हु आर मेकिंग अ शिफ्ट फ्रॉम वन करियर टू द अदर. As I gave you an example of a system engineer moving on to becoming an auditor, so that this is a totally different field from their previous field. So वो जब change कर रहे होंगे तो वो of course अपने educational background को भी नहीं, professional background को भी नहीं, skills को highlight करेंगे कि अब वो auditor क्यों बनना चाहते हैं. What are the skills that would that make them a good auditor rather than a good engineer. And then the combination format, as the name implies, the combination format is a combination of the functional and chronological formats. ये दोनों का combination होता है. The combination resume is formed by adding a listing of employers and positions held to the functional resume. This shows the potential employer where you have gained the skills you are highlighting. If you have a stable employment record, it is important to include it because it helps remove some of the suspicions that often rise in the mind of employers reading functional resumes. Now, figure 5 that we have is going to give us a combination resume. Now, let's move on to our CV samples. This first one is reverse chronological resume. Let's look at it. It's written in a very simple style and just one-page resume. You have the mailing address, the name of the person, that is first name and last name, mailing address, city, state, zip code, account or phone number or email address. This is the piece of information, the first piece of information that appears on a CV. Objective is briefly and succinctly state the type of job and the industry you prefer. Very briefly and very succinctly. Succinctly means in a very concise manner say what you want to do in this job, what job and what industry you want to prefer. Education, University of Hawaii at Hilo, PA, BS, major field of study. आपने यहाँ पे अपनी डिग्री लिखनी है. They have given you a choice. Name of the university, and if it is highlighted, keep it highlighted throughout. BA, BSc, major field of study लिखेंगे यहाँ पे. GPA लिखेंगे if it is 3 or above. 3 से नीचे GPA मत mention करें. If your major field of study is closely related to your objective, place that above University of Hawaii at Hilo and bold it. In that case, do not bold UHH. अगर आपकी major field of study is closely related to the job you are seeking, तो उसको आप highlight कर दें, because आपकी education में सबसे पहले वो degree आ जाए जो आप जिसकी वजह से आप ये job लेना चाहते हैं. Include amplifying remarks that may strengthen your competitiveness. You may mention courses, independent studies, work commitments and scholarships. Amplifying remarks means you need to add glorifying, lofty expressions that what you have achieved during your education. And here is the date at which you achieved this degree. And then we move on to skills. Preface your skills title with an industry-specific title such as marketing skills. You have to give headings of skills that are important, that would help you get this job, that are very closely related to the specifications of this job. Summarize any industry-related experience, technical, language, communication, or transferable skills that you possess. Now, industry-related experience means any technical experience, any foreign languages that you learned, communication, or any transferable skills. Transferable skills means that you can help other people to learn from you. And then we move on to experience. Preface means you have to give it a heading here. You have to put it in a way that it is highlighted and noticed. So if you have had a sales experience, so you will put sales experience here and talk about the position you held, and then most recent first. That is why this format is called reverse chronological. Then the name of the firm or agency, city and state, and some accomplishments that you achieved. Accomplishments, bullets form how you made a difference at this organization. Minimize listing duties and tasks, describe how you made a difference. Try to generate 3 or more bullets for each position in this section. Now here you can add all your work experience, any different organizations you worked with, and then at least 3 points for the accomplishments you had. You used your abilities, any skills, any accomplishments that you achieved while in this position. Leadership experience. If you have any leadership experience, whether elected, appointed, or simply assumed, describe it as if it were a job. Employers come to University of Hawaii to recruit the future leaders of their company. Give yourself an appropriate title and follow the format suggested above. Now the University of Hawaii developed this template, this booklet for their students to develop good communicative CVs, because people from other companies come over to this university to hire people for hire good students for their companies. So to be able to get a good job right at the time when you are finishing university, or you are inside the university studying for it, you need to have a very good piece of paper in the form of a CV in the form of in the form of black and white, to be able to be presented to someone who wants you as their employee. So give yourself an appropriate title and follow the format suggested above. Now this is what you have to do. Here again, along with the dates, you have to mention what leadership experience you have, whether you were elected a president of the college council, or you took part in some kind of an appointment, or you were simply assumed a leadership role. Like you were given a class representative role, so you have to mention that. Position title, most recent first, club, agency, and similarly you have to follow this same format. You have to list at least 3 important things that you did and with which you made some difference. Related experience, as a general rule, if it is honest work, it is related to your object. If objective, if you lack space or accomplishment bullets, you may simply want to list the position title, firm or agency, and dates. Now any related experience that you have, you can mention here. Anything that you think that is related to the job you are seeking, you can mention it under this heading. Activities and honors, list any academic or other honors that you have earned. Community activities, organizational activities that are not substantive enough to be listed under leadership experience. Now those that cannot be added to leadership experience can be added here. Any activities and honors that you got. Now here we have another sample for the reverse Chronological resume format. This one's with the name and their address, phone number, and the email. Then we have the objective, management trainee position in retail merchandising. The first part of this resume is objective, a management trainee position in retail merchandising. Then we have the education, University of Hawaii at Hilo, Bachelor of Arts in English, GPA 3.46, May 2003. Business coursework includes financial, managerial and intermediate accounting, auditing, business law, the global economy, statistics and business writing. Now, as I told you earlier, you can mention the name of your university, the degree, your GPA, and then the core courses that you studied, because that would help your employer to see in which field you are good और किस field की आपको academic knowledge है और आपको उस job के लिए रखा जाए या नहीं. Business skills, retail, sales and sales management experience, bilingual Japanese English, conversational Spanish, proficient in use of IBM PC, familiar with Macintosh operating system, extensive experience with WordPerfect and PageMaker. Now business skills में आप ये सब mention करेंगे, retail sales और sales management experience है आपका, because these are the things जो business firms जो है वो बहुत ज़्यादा value करती हैं अपने employees में. Experience, assistant manager, Island Furniture, Hilo, Hawaii, 2000 to the present. They have worked as the assistant manager. Now experience देखें आपके 2000 से शुरू होके 1998 और फिर आपका reverse chronological में जा रहा है. Like the recent position is जो अभी की है वो लिखी है और उसके बाद वापस. So then you have 3 points here about what you did being in that position and how you made a difference. Now here again, after the assistant manager position, they have listed down 3 main responsibilities that they did there. Joined firm as sales associate, rapidly promoted to assistant manager, scheduled and supervised the staff of 7 employees, increased sales volume by 25% in 6 months time. Now see, this is how they made a difference, and this would definitely help the prospective employer see that this person is good at what they do. Program coordinator, Native Hawaiian Education Project in University of Hawaii, Hilo, began as volunteer, selected for promotion to program coordinator, trained 15 new volunteers to work with at-risk elementary school children, wrote, compiled and edited a 20-page manual for training volunteers, expanded the program to include 5 additional elementary schools. Now see, these are 4 important responsibilities that they had at that time, and they made a difference. That they compiled a report, and report writing is a 20-page manual that they did made is always a very good skill at the business level. So people are really interested in having employees who are good at technical writing. And then they also worked as office assistant. Thomas Temporaries Incorporated, Hilo, Hawaii, provided clerical support for several large corporate offices and law firms, enhanced administrative skills and became proficient in the use of computers, received several offers for permanent employment based on excellent performance. Now these were the 3 important responsibilities that they had as office assistant. Now you see, these are 3 professional experiences that they had, and they have written 3 or 4 responsibilities. So this makes it a very good communicative professional experience slot in your CV, because your employer would be definitely interested in knowing कि आपने जब assistant manager के तौर पे काम किया तो उसमें किया क्या, what difference did you make, rather than going over sitting in front of them and describing everything in an interview. अगर आप कुछ points यहाँ लिख देंगे, they would definitely call you for an interview or want to know the details. So then honors and activities में उन्होंने लिखा है Dean's List, Program Director, University of Hawaii, Hilo Business Investment Society, Contributing Writer, and he whatever he was in the dean's list, he was a program director. उन्होंने honors और activities में वो सब points में commas के साथ list के form में mention कर दिया है. Now here is an example of a functional resume format, because previously we saw 2 chronological resumes. Now we look at a functional resume. We have the name and all the contact information of this person, their address, phone number and email. Then we have the objective, cooperative education position or internship in the computer science industry. They need an education position or internship in the computer science industry. Then they have the education of computer science minor, economics major. Computer science was the minor subject and economics was the major subject, University of Hawaii, December 2004. This again is a reverse chronological, and you see we start off with education. Mathematics, Associate of Science, Fresno City College, June 2002. And coursework includes software development, visual basic programming, web technology, discrete mathematics, artificial intelligence, data structures programming, operating systems, computer networks, and they have mentioned almost all the subjects that they studied, and this would help your employee, their employer, get a very clear idea कि वो किस किस areas में knowledgeable हैं और हम उन्हें रख सकते हैं या नहीं. Then of course the person is from the computer science minor, so they have listed their computer skills. Of course there will be a lot of them. Technical programming languages, C++, Fortran, and all these, they know all these programming languages, environments, IBM, these are the examples of all the environments, application softwares, Excel, Access, WordArt, Design Maker, Microsoft Word 7 and WordPerfect 6. So these are the application softwares that they are good at, वो उन्होंने सब mention किए हैं. Regarding programming, design purchasing system that operates on a novel network using Fox Pro, produced computerized chess game using artificial intelligence techniques. Now see, these are definitely achievements and they have mentioned them in 3 bullet points, and any employer would definitely be interested and they would want to know more about it. And this is not a small achievement that they produced a computerized chess game. Designed own home page using HTML and Java, and this is a skill that mostly computer programmers or firms that need computer programmers, they need this skill in them. Regarding research, they have participated in research project involving heuristic search algorithms, prepared written reports of research projects. And this is research, of course, is one skill that is used everywhere. In every field, you need to have some background of research. So they have highlighted theirs so that their employer knows that they are good at that. Activities and honors, Computer Science Students Association, Webmaster Students Group, National Association of Collegiate Scholars, representative at large Fresno City College. And these are 4 of their activities and honors that they have done. They were members of these organizations, these student association and student group, and they have mentioned it here. You also need to have very clear or close eye on any memberships that you have ever had or you have right now. उनको आपने mention करना है. Now last but not the least, let's look at the sample combination format. This book would be available with you on the portal. You can look at it, you can go back and try to do all those activities that help you gather all the material regarding your CV, and the previous template that we discussed would be the best way to be able to write a good resume. Barry Vulcan, we have given this the person's name. For the combination resume, we have their address, then we have the phone number and the email. Accomplishments, you start off with your accomplishments, because with the combination resume you would not like to go for your professional history first. Employment history अब यहाँ पे देखें आपकी end में आ रही है almost काफ़ी देर से. So accomplishments: designated salesperson of the year 3 years in a row, directed turnaround of sales focus with declining production, achieved a 57% increase in sales volume within first year as manager. Now when they were given this sales person of the year award, at that time the sales force was declining, and what they did was that they achieved a 57% increase in sales volume within the first year as a manager. Recommended new product line that resulted in $3.5 million increase in business. That again is a huge achievement. Designed system for inventory control that resulted in 30-degree reduction in merchandise loss. Now these of course are very good achievements. They are lifetime achievements the person has accomplished, and they have written them at the top of their CV, so that the employer right from the beginning believes that the person is good at what they have done. Skills and experience summary. Sales promotion में उनका क्या skill है उसके बारे में उन्होंने ये 3 points लिखे हैं. Then we have sales management, and then we have market research. Sales promotion: prepared and supervised sales promotion projects for major business organizations, created newspaper, radio and television advertising campaigns for new product lines, represented company at trade association meetings to promote products and services. And sales management में उन्होंने क्या किया था? Recruited, trained and supervised local and regional sales staffs. Recruited, trained and supervised. Now they have the experience of recruitment, training and supervising also. Developed and implemented sales training and development programs. Assigned territories, established quotas and supervised achievements of goals. Now these are really some achievements, some responsibilities that are given to an authoritative figure, a very experienced figure. And in sales management they have assigned territories, established quotas and supervised achievements of goals. That means they have been a very good supervisor. Market research: organized and directed market research projects to determine customer needs, prepared sales forecasts, made recommendations on product design, pricing and distribution, composed detailed reports of the survey results for corporate management team. Now regarding research in the market, they have done these things, and they again are complete in themselves, very focused, very organized and directed marketing research projects. So this section, skills and experience summary, gives us a very clear overview of the person's skills and experience. Moving on to employment history, in this combination format, we see that they worked as sales manager, Gilmore Research Corporation, 2000 to present, assistant sales manager and sales associate. And this again is in reverse chronological order. This is always a very good way to highlight your work experience, starting from the latest work profession to the last or the first that you started. Then education: certificate in marketing, Fresno City College, 1998. This also is in the reverse chronological order. Bachelor of Arts in Economics, University of Hawaii, 1995. And this is how you'll keep on mentioning those. Now this was a combination resume format that we talked about in detail. Before this we talked about a reverse chronological format and a skills format that helped you have a very clear idea how to go about it, because once you look at sample or example resumes, as I told you in the previous lecture, when you go over an example resume, you have a very clear idea what to include and what not to include in your resume. As a student, it would be a very good idea that you start making your resume right now from this time, because at this moment, if you have a very choppy or very brief resume with you, that's just all right, because you are not getting into seeking a job in the next 2 or 3 months. But after 6 to 8 months, you'll definitely need a very good communicative and effective and focused and clear resume, because then you will be going over to applying for different jobs. So it's always advisable that you start writing your resume according to these templates that we've given you. We've gone through 2 lectures on resume writing. And we'll also talk about a cover letter that is always accompanied by a resume. Never send out a resume without a cover letter. We'll discuss the cover letter in the next coming lectures, and you will have a very clear idea how to make a document that expresses you as a person, as a professional in front of your prospective employer. Just to revise what we have done today, we are going to summarize some points. We talked about kinds of resume formats and samples. We talked about chronological, functional and combination resumes and their samples. We also talked about a resume writing template for those young people who have no work experience at all, so that they can make a very functional resume for the beginning, and then later on add up to it as they keep on getting experience and achievements and skills. They keep on adding to that, and by the end of about 6 to 8 months, those students might have to apply for different jobs at different organizations, and that CV would help them do that. So this was the end of lecture number 28. We'll see you in the next lecture. Thank you very much.